The Coppernado is back. What do you want?
Wow. Just wow. I hope you really enjoyed yourself up there. Had a cathartic experience. Because for the rest of us, that really sucked.
It's safe to say this is about your karaoke performance.
I get it. You were purposefully shit. So original. I'm not letting anyone up there again. Ever. Now what did you want?
I was just thinking, what a nice day for questions pertaining to a murder investigation. I really don't know, sir. I certainly don't feel like I've won. I feel like shit, sir, all the time.
She smiles, a bitter little smile. She means it.
Clearly, I haven't. We're having this conversation, aren't we? How well could it have gone, I mean?
The snow falls on her shoulders, then melts in her light blonde hair, cold and soft.
I'm stuck in Martinez just like all of us. I've been up here for, I don't know how long now. I like to call this my rooftop containment facility. For my sins, of course. The long-standing sins of a bad, frivolous person. For destroying my first love. For working for bad people. The list goes on and on. I don't know what to say. None of this is fortuitous for me. The what? Oh, those ones. I don't know, sir. I said I have no idea what to make of them. Honestly, I think they're just trash. I mean, there's no reason for me to think they're somehow connected to her.
She nods, slowly, carefully even. There is suddenly a strange glint in her eyes. Not malicious, but dangerous. Two neon-lit shapes, a man and a woman having sex. A ray of backward motion. The ray cast from the man's mouth unravels into a fan of possible directions, all on the roof at first. The shot could have come from any of them. This is composite location A prime, most likely of the origin points. There could have been. Then the rain and slush and wind washed it away. 72%, with an antique weapon that fires. The lights were on in here. Outside it was dark. It was like, that's a 28%, yes. In this model, the shot could have come from a greater distance. Nothing excludes 700 meters away. The likeliest of these B positions, 20% chance. A skilled sniper could have made the shot, provided he had a safe sniper's nest. Even with the light on inside, we're talking military training. At that distance, 1.2 kilometers away, the least likely of these positions, let's say 3%. A truly skilled sniper could have done it. possibly from a tent. No, too far-fetched. Indeed, there was no evidence of a sniper's nest in that location. The distance is too great, and water vapor would have made the shot almost impossible. 1 kilometer away, a point beyond the docks, on an islet in the bay. The fort is ruined, but the perpetrator may have found a stable spot on the beaches surrounding it, where the concrete crumbles into the sea, as you saw in the coin-operated viewer. The shot would have been a small miracle, 5% likelihood. There is an extremely narrow field of view from the bay to the window, between Rue de Saint-Ghislain 10 and 33A. The angle would have been extreme, and access to the islets is questionable. The paintbrush in your hand is like a loaded revolver. What will it be, Desperado? Quite a few things come to mind. You've spoken. The wall will now silently repeat the message for a decade or so, until the sea air degrades the paint, adding another layer of detritus to the city.
Very poetic. Real poetry. Should we return to our murder investigation? I hear there's a really bad one we are supposed to solve.
The door is closed again. Nothing to do here anymore. You hear someone inside, walking from room to room. Whoever lives here must be back home. This coin-operated viewer is facing south. It has given up all its secrets. There seems to be a sunken sea fort on the islet in the bay.
There was a revitalization project in 49. A design studio tried restoring Martinez to its pre-war glory. It didn't stick. They got as far as the street lamps and that statue in the intersection before something went sour. I suspect it was Erard's class doing. We muscled them up. It's how it usually goes around here. We should have done something about the Union 10 years ago. That ship has sailed, officer.
Your money disappears into the coin slot, a clock, the ring of metal. The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry, different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer stands a drab grey shape, like a ghost. The lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible, a half-sunken sea fort, its concrete almost reconquered by nature. It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch tree grows out of it. Its leaves ripped from it by the winter wind.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out. Can you tell? From this distance? I don't think it's possible.
It's not. The details are blurry. There's water vapor in the way and waves cut into the islet. This coin-operated viewer is facing south.
The unpromising race pupil returns.
I think this racist is better than the last. But the next racist will be the really good one.
That will be the...
There always is.
Race is reality.
The payphone hangs mutely on the wall. There isn't much more to do here. before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly. Despite the dirt that surrounds and trails you, a beacon of light emerges from deep within you. The door stands silent.
Satisfied, detective?
Try again. Just like that, you hear a click, then a rattle. Some mechanism unlocks itself inside the door.
Ahoy! Come on in!
You can't be serious.
The man stands at the far end of the shipping container. It's hard to say anything more about him. You cannot make out any of his details, but you do feel the overwhelming presence of capital. The feeling causes all the hairs on your body to stand at attention, like soldiers preparing for review. Something's amiss. The light beams bend around his face and scatter in 1,000 directions. It seems the laws of physics do not apply here. They are suspended, distorted, and echo. Trying to visualize the physics at play is liable to give you an aneurysm. Don't think about it too hard. In the general stillness, only your tongue moves, flickering as you utter.
Welcome, welcome. Not too much actually. Just pleasantly surprised to have company today.
You can't hear him exactly, yet you're able to understand every word he says. It is very strange. An overwhelming hum covers everything. Voice doesn't escape from him.
Now, what can I do for you, gentlemen? Who am I? Oh, I haven't been asked that question for such a long time. I don't meet a lot of people outside my circle these days. Anyhow, my name is Rustam Theodore, investor, license holder, and extremely high net worth individual. And you are?
Mr. Theodore, I am Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi of the RCM, and this is my partner.
Pleasure to meet you, Harry. Though I'm sorry to hear a good public servant like yourself is in servitude to the drink. A man can't serve two masters in my experience.
I can assure you, Mr. Theodore, that despite his vices, he is a competent detective.
Oh, don't you worry, Lieutenant. I can tell a good man when I see one.
Oh Lord, not this again. Oh, nothing. It's just that we've got his murder to solve, and yet you go around asking everyone about money. And every time I ask, are you sure this is related to the case, you say, sure, Kim, I think it is. And yet, it never seems to get us any closer to solving the case.
It's quite alright. I'm used to the question by now. To be blunt, I inherited my fortune from my grandmother, who herself was an extremely high net worth individual back in Garte. All I did was take her fortune and invest it prudently. Believe it or not, It takes more than a bit of skill not to blow a vast fortune on sailing boats, bad choices, and unsupervised state policy.
And blow. Actually, at the level this guy is, it takes several generations to do that. But, alright.
I gotta tell you, at first, being rich is a lot of work. You've got to work hard because everything's so darn expensive. You know, prices increase exponentially at this income level. But then, once you've reached my position, it's nearly impossible for me not to make money. My assets are so diversified that I'm bound to come out ahead no matter what. Some of my lower net worth friends say to me, but doesn't that take all the fun out of it? And I tell them, not really. Sure, and they benefit when I buy things to stimulate the economy. Do you know how many jobs it takes to build and maintain a racing yacht? Dozens, at least. Of course, in the future, it'll all be automated. But my point is this. Every man gets what he earns. It's the height of tyranny to take that from him. Capital makes one speechless, does it not? Blinds like the sun that rises from beyond the horizon after a gloomy winter.
Hey, all this talk about money has made you lose the thread. What is going on with the light in this place? That's what you need to ask him about.
What do you mean? Are you talking about my chin?
Please behave yourself.
I've never heard anybody say anything about my chin. Yet, I know that people often tell each other half-truths, things they think the other party would wish to hear. Being rich does not make one impervious to the human condition. Maybe I do have a strange chin, and you're the first person to call me out on this. Not that you should, but you did. For this, I'm grateful. What do you mean? Are you talking about my chin? Oh, that's what you mean. Yes, I've heard of this effect, though I've never witnessed it myself, of course. It has something to do with our Weiss-Wiesemann coefficient.
The Weiss-Wiesemann coefficient is a ratio designed to reflect the difference in net worth between individuals. When the coefficient is close to 1, or 100%, it means one person possesses all the net worth. Among that group of individuals, it's been observed that when the Weiss-Wiesemann coefficient reaches about 0.96 or so, the laws of physics begin to bend around the high net worth individual. The Weiss-Wiesemann coefficient for you and this individual appears to be 0.9998, repeating. That's not good for you.
Among other things. But calm down. I'm but a lowly single-digit billionaire. No, not really. There are actually quite many digits.
A man this chill is at least a triple-digit billionaire.
I see nothing of the sort. To be frank, all I see is a gentleman who's unusually well dressed for Martinez, in a cargo container, which I admit is odd.
Yes, I imagine that does look strange to you. My container. Traveling. This is a great way to get around. It's fun, it's safe, and it gives me lots of time to think. By the way, let me now ask you a question. Where are we exactly? Well, as we say in my circle, one person's crushing business failure is someone else's development opportunity. It's a shame I can't get out and explore myself. One of the downsides of being an extremely high net worth individual is that mobs of low net worth individuals are constantly banding together to ask for money. There simply aren't enough hours a day to hand out all the handouts. It's like feeding seagulls. There are always more, and they never seem to do anything interesting with it, except more seagulls. Spending money is a matter of desire. I'm sure you agree. I don't have the desire for spending it like that. Smart, no? It also provides a means to hide from all the targeted advertising we extremely high net worth individuals are constantly subjected to. Luxury yachts, high fidelity portable radio systems, fail-proof outerwear, and so on. It just gets a bit middle class after a while. A bit bourgeois. Don't get me wrong. They're nice things. But once you achieve a certain level of wealth, your time and mental space become much more important than material goods.
He speaks from the heart. He has very different problems compared to low net worth individuals such as yourself. For example, no problems at all.
What? No, I did not say that at all. Being rich is great. Just don't tell anyone I told you that.
Could you please stop asking people for money? It does not reflect well on the RCM, and to be perfectly frank, we can't afford to look worse than we already do.
It's perfectly alright. Based on your appearance, I can tell I'm dealing with a smart man. As you may know, us high net worth individuals do not have a lot of cash on hand. Investments and liquidity are enemies of one another. I think I only have coins for coffee machines. Here is 3 real. How much can you get for this? That's the idea, my friend. You've got to work for the rest. Maybe you can make that money grow. Come up with an investment plan. How's that sound?
These ultra-liberal types love losing huge sums of money on ludicrous proposals. Ergo, you should come up with a plan that's totally dead in the water. Congratulations. You've somehow managed to fail at failing, which means, in a strange way, that you've succeeded.
A youth center, huh? What kind of youth center?
A place to train buff kids. A place to teach them practical skills like teamwork and self-discipline. Come on, tell him what he wants to hear.
Brilliant. Without children, who'll be there to buy stuff in the future? When life closes a door, it opens a window, yes? What's the expected return on this?
You're deep into ultra-liberal territory now. Good work.
Very impressive. You've got a natural eye for unusual investment opportunities. I don't normally do this without a formal pitch deck, but to hell with it. What's the point of being rich if you have to follow all the rules? Here's the round of seed funding. This should be enough to prove out the concept and get things off the ground.
Cha-ching! What'll it be? Speed? Vodka? Cigarettes?
Remember, it's not a handout. It's an investment, and I expect to see returns.
The lieutenant stands there, dumbfounded. His mouth opens slightly, then closes again. Is he having a stroke?
I'm not unimpressed. Let's leave it at that.
Now, was there anything else I could help you gentlemen with? The pleasure was mine. Unfortunately, I must be away soon. The next time we meet, I'll be expecting an update on my investment. Farewell, friend, and may your peace of mind guide you to happiness.
Mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. It's sure, mister. Absolutely. I'm always willing to help out nice fellows such as yourself. Mr. Evrat doesn't really want me to talk to people about union guys. But who did you want to talk about? Mr. Edgar is Mr. Evrat's brother. He looks a bit younger, he does. But a very smart fellow. Very smart fellow indeed. He's away on some union business. Not even in Rethoric, they say. All kinds of places he visits. Him and his brother both do when they're on a vacation. Right now, it's Mr. Everett's turn to look after the union. But last year he spent a whole winter in South Africa. Left with the first autumn rains and didn't come back before the trees were green again.
South Safari? A lot of bulk chemical manufacturing going on there. A lot of cargo shipments being made, too.
The trade must have been lucrative for the trip to be so long.
He's a union man through and through. Good guy. He's very calm, laid back, doesn't do much, talks to Everett sometimes. Honestly, I don't know what he does for us, but it must be important because everybody likes him. Yes, they do. I think that's what he does. He makes everyone feel a little better.
Oil for the wheels. Much needed in stressful times like these.
Whoa, he's really something. He doesn't talk much to me usually, but when he does, I don't really understand most of what he's saying. Actually, I don't think he would like me running my mouth about him like that. Once he said he's a dragon to this mob fellow who came picking a fight with some union men. I think he really believes Jean-Luc was a dragon because he ran right off. Another time he almost killed another guy, but I shouldn't talk about that. Who do you mean, mister?
You do realize he might just be a figment of your imagination, right?
I don't know anyone like this, mister. Maybe he's one of Mr. Everett's fancy friends. He knows all kinds of fancy people with suits and purdy carriages.
He really feels very uncomfortable discussing matters related to Everett with you.
Oh, Titus is a longshoreman through and through. He was born on a boat, they say. His veins are probably filled with salt water, I tell you. Nice, friendly sort, old Titus is.
He's probably one of those rare specimens who are born when two drunk seamen stumble on top of each other on the deck amidst a storm so violent it flings whales around.
I'd best not. I mean, I could, but I don't think Mr. Everett would like it very much. You better ask him yourself, mister. The night guard. Ooh, he's a peculiar fellow. He's the strong, silent type, you could say. We talk all the time, but I don't really know much about him. He plays petanque with my old human studies teacher, Mr. Martin, down at the plaza. I think he's the only fellow who actually knows old Renee. They lived on the same street their entire lives, even dated the same girl on and off for as long as I can remember. Strange fellows. Mr. Martin was always real nice to me in school. I remember once. Mr. Martin, yes. Don't really remember much about him. I was just a boy back then.
Mr. Martin, Gaston also taught history and human studies to the Clear brothers.
Sure, mister. What can Leo do for you?
Promising raise pupil return.
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says, 1 bottle equals 10 cents. Your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears with a satisfying jingle. You're a richer man now. A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. They all bear the Saint Baptiste Pharmaceutics logo.
I don't know. Let's see. Nosafed is a nasal spray. Dramamine is a really good painkiller. Magnesium is a dietary supplement. Hypnogamma is... I don't really know what hypnogamma is. I guess it makes you feel less shit. It's recommended to use after lots of partying, studying, or exercising. No. Sorry. I'm not like a doctor or anything.
Nosafed heals +1 health. Dramamine heals +3 health. Magnesium heals +1 morale. Hypnogamma heals +3 morale.
Saint Baptiste, you know, the pharmaceuticals company. Saint Baptiste Pharmaceuticals, the one that sells meds out of Saint Baptiste. That one. There.
She is right. Saint Baptiste, the company, derives its name from Saint Baptiste, the city. Itself so named because that's what it is. A rare case where that really is the full etymological history. As far as almost anyone knows, at least. A colorful display of cigarettes and alcohol bottles line the shop wall, inviting you closer.
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything. I don't really know anything. I mean, I know it's there, but I haven't seen it, so... Uh-huh.
Lowman, you caught me at an opportune moment. This awful weather keeps me awake. You can entertain me with your questions.